You were the best of the best. But the proudest day of my life was when you turned legit. You started a family, and you got out of the life.
What's going on?
Chris, come home. It's my brother.
So I think one of the things that that I loved about the movie is your relationship with your stepbrother, or I'm sorry, your brother-in-law, and you are that person to him that keeps him from screwing up, that keeps him from getting in trouble. And I was wondering, in your life, who was that person that you had around that kind of put you on the right path?
I thought you were going to say who the people around me that are screwing up, and there's a list of 25.
Oh yeah, is it a much longer list?
My whole entourage. But you know, my brother was definitely influential in keeping me on the right track. I did have a lot of people that were helpful in keeping me on the right track because I got into a lot of trouble when I was younger. So
did you relate more with the brother-in-law character than you did actually with Chris?
No. If I was 21, yes, but you know, at 40, I definitely related to my character more.
You know what happened, Andy? I was running something, and I dumped the package.
You know, when I stopped doing runs, you promised me you were gonna stay out of this.
They're gonna kill me.
They're not gonna kill you.
You know, and one of the things I found interesting about the storyline is that when we meet Chris, the kind of life he had in the past is usually the kind of life that you would make a movie about. So when we meet him, he's kind of a little bit later going on in life. And I was wondering if you could revisit one of your characters later on in life, just to kind of see where he ended up, where he's at right now. Which character would it be?
I don't know, maybe Dirk Diggler.
I would like to see where he's at, maybe at 40.
Yeah.
Where do you think he would be?
I don't know. Hopefully alive.
I
was hoping you understand his family. Maybe we could work something out.
I'll give you 2 weeks. If not, I'm gonna come after the both of you. I'll come asking your wife for it, your kid.
You think you're the only guy with a gun? Could you ever mention my wife and my kids again? Oh, done.
First of all, happy freaking birthday, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
I was doing something. I saw it.
You're the only one. You let the cat out of the bag.
I didn't want to make a big deal, but I figured you're working on your birthday, so at least you should get a little recognition.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I've got to say, the scenes that I loved most with you were the scenes where your daughter was there, because it kind of reminded me of that this guy has another life outside of everything that we're seeing, which I thought was fascinating to me, because it made me realize that like there's more to this guy than we're seeing on camera. Do you come up with other details about your character, other aspects of your life that we may never see as an audience on camera?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that it depends from character to character. I think that it just depends on how inspired or how connected you feel or confident. And I think in regards to this, you know, there was the director, Balthazar, has a lot of experience with theater and acting himself. And so to be able to parlay off of him and talk to him about the character was you know, a privilege. It was really a dream because he had so many ideas and he could talk the talk, you know.
You know what's gonna happen if you don't pay. You know the rules, right?
I gotta try to fix this. Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
One of the things I found fascinating was that in Gone in 60 Seconds, you play kind of the brother that needs help, and then now with this film, you're kind of on the other side of that. So playing both the person that needs help and then the person that's kind of going after the person that needs help, does that give you a different perspective now on both sides of what it means to be on that situation?
Oh man, I mean, you know, Gone in 60 Seconds was so long ago, and I didn't even think about that. Actually, it didn't even cross my mind. But maybe, I don't know. I think that there was something, though, definitely what you said about going after somebody and just. It's like it really is kind of like this feral, you know, hunter or whatever, just relentless, you know.
So what are we running?
Currency, 15 million on 4 stacks. It's like the size of a Mini Cooper. Where are you gonna hide it?
Where is the faith?
Oh, I lost my stripes now. I gotta start from scratch.
Have you ever been convicted of espionage, sedition, treason?
Together.
I thought it was really fascinating to see how important it was for Chris to move past the negative aspects of his life, to get out of all that and to have a normal, everyday life. And I was wondering how important it was for you whenever you were getting out of modeling, when you were getting to acting. Was it important for you to completely put that behind you and say, you know what, this is my new life now?
Yeah, for sure. And you know, once I started to have a family, you know, when I met my wife and, you know, we started to have children, it was like, but that's what's supposed to happen, you know. You're supposed to change and grow and, you know, evolve into a, you know, a real man.
They're running something on my ship. Could be big.
Takes money to make money.
Está bueno.
No, it's no bueno.
And there are so many great little nuances that I felt that you brought to the character. And when I read it, and I could be wrong, I was like, there's no way that it was written that cool on a page. What was the difference between what was written on the page versus what we actually see on screen? Was it written like that?
Yeah, I mean, we got to play around with things a little bit, and I think that you know, you improvise and you work on, you play around with it, and then you pretty much lock it down, and so that they can shoot it as well, because, you know, filmmaking is such a communal art form, and with this, you know, you would come up with an idea and that changes the scene, but then you kind of have to reposition the camera, both figuratively and literally.
Right. I mean, I could geek out with you all day. Like, how did was the voice written on page like that? Or
no, that was something that we worked on with, you know, that I kind of thought about, and it's interesting because I wish I could. I got into tape recording myself so I could hear myself, because it's hard to hear your own voice within your, you know, and that's a part of, you know, just sort of classical training, acting training or whatever. But that was, you know, it was just developed out of just sort of, I think one day just pacing, one of those footsteps of just like, oh yeah, we'll try that.
Very cool. Well, they're giving me the wrap, man. I could talk to you for an hour.
Okay,
it's a
cool,
pleasure
man.
talking with you, man, and happy birthday.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
so much.
Cool.
Say goodbye to your wife.
I'm coming. I'm coming for you.
And last time we talked for The Fighter, you told me something really interesting. You said that you were always worried every time we talked because you knew I was always going to ask about The Fighter, and you were always worried about the, you know, not being able to say whether or not it was coming out or not coming out. So I was wondering, at this point now, what is that project you're working on? What is the one that you're having a hard time bringing about that you're going to be worried about all of us asking?
Well, there's a couple. We're developing a lot of things, so we're waiting, you know, for the John Roberts script, which was about the Cocaine Cowboys documentary.
Oh, wow.
Pete Berger's doing a rewrite on that right now, and we're waiting for the script for the Bieber movie. Me and him playing basketball. I'm waiting for that script, and then we're waiting for the Entourage script. Waiting for Fighter 2 script. You know, we got a lot of stuff that we're waiting on.
So are you going to be worried every time I'm going to come in? I'm going to ask about
calling everybody every day, saying, "Hey, what's going on?" Yeah.
Okay, just tell them Jake wants to know, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I don't have much patience, man. It's like, come on already, let's go.
Yeah, but then again, look how well The Fighter turned out, man. You had a little bit of patience on that.
And Fighter was the reason why we're able to be making Broken City right now with Russell Crowe and I. So it's, you know, it's hopefully it just makes it a little bit easier.
For sure. And I know that you're a producer on this one. When you come into a project and you're not only just performing it, but you're also a producer, do you feel a little bit more attachment to that as opposed to maybe another project?
Of course, yeah, and a lot more responsibility. You know, I got to make sure that everybody's being taken care of. You know, when I called Chase Ben Foster down to play the part, and I did the same thing to Giovanni, I wanted to make sure that they would know they were going to be taken care of.
Really quick, they're giving me the wrap. I think Boardwalk Empire is one of the best shows on television.
Thank you.
Any chance that we will see you on that?
I don't know. I can't even get an audition right now. But I'm happy with what's happening with the show for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, the end of that season 2 is just off the charts.
Absolutely. And dude, I'm always honored to talk with you, man. I'm a huge
my
fan.
pleasure. Thanks,
Thanks so much. Thank you for your time.
We're going to war. Here we go.
Open the container. Where's my wife?
Tell him not to dump it in the water.
You will never find that money.
Pull the trigger.